themselves. I'm telling you that I would rather the people learn to swim. I would rather that they get up out of that dirty water to begin with. This book is a call and a claim. I am calling all of God's children home. Come home. I don't care how far you drifted off into the dark corners of this world. Come home. I don't care how comfortable you are, how settled you are, or how settled you may be in this illusionary world. Come home. I am calling out in tone to your soul. Remember, reader, and come home. I am claiming all of God's children that they may be redeemed. You may not have faith in you, but I do. You may have forgotten who you belong to, but I remember. My hand is extended. Take what's in it. It is your reminder. Now grab my hand. You will walk through smoldering heat. I'm telling you what's going to come with the fact that you are taking on this path that we'll be speaking about in this book, Rehab. All right. You will walk through smoldering heat. You will be cold at times. Your head will ache. The dark lords, the ones I call the shadow lurkers, will challenge and taunt you day in and day out. They will scream from what will sound like the very depths of your consciousness, causing a warping sensation. They will suggest that you give up. They will declare your efforts useless. They will beg your energy and your attention. I know these beings. This is no allegory. This is no riddle. This is no parable. This is what they will do. Here is how you will overcome them. When they approach you in dreams, you will not fear them. Remember that they are not allowed to cross over and hold frequency in this realm. And so if you see them, you are most likely dreaming and you are in no real danger. Yet you are still not to engage. If you are approached by these beings sexually, reject them. When you begin to abstain and refrain from masturbation and ejaculation and pornography and alcohol and casual sex, etc., in the beginning of that journey, you may become a target. Why is it that those who indulge are targets already and those who refrain and abstain may become targets also? This is because those who indulge are already on the quote unquote frequency of the beings, and these beings use them for their energetic yields, which these beings consume as food. And those who refrain and abstain may also experience some buildup of lustful or sexual energy that is actually more potent and desired and sought out by the shadow lurkers. This is why transmutation and meditation and or prayer and change of environment and diet is so important as you go into rehab mode. I don't tell you these things to scare you away. I tell you these things so that you might be prepared in the event that you do encounter such beings as I have before and I overcame them. I put in bright red, never submit. This includes if and when you have what is called intrusive thoughts. Don't beat yourself up. Most people have experienced this phenomenon at one point in their life or the other. Instead, identify the intrusive thought and send it on its way. You can use this powerful mantra or utterance. This is not my thought. I do not agree with this thought. This thought is not welcome in my mind. Thought, be gone. This is a part of your activation of what is called your psychic defense. As you become renewed, you will be much more cautious of what you allow into your shrine or your holy place, which is your mind. When a mother is expecting a newborn, she usually cleans her home or dwelling thoroughly to make room for the new life and to make sure it's as cleanly and godly as possible as this brand new being comes forth. This is what you have been doing if you have been walking with me. And this is what you will be doing moving forward. You, the version of you that is becoming one with your soul, are the newborn. Your brain or mind is your home, and your actions and your faith and your willpower and your consistency are the cleaning equipment. You will be ready for your new life. You are ready. The doors of rehab are open, reader. Cast down your vices. You are stronger than what you may even know. I know this to be true. This is the rehab book. From your foundation that you've built with discipline and dedication and willpower, you will travel on upwards to your house to retrieve that illuminated treasure, which you will use to heal your being once and for all. And you will then be able to sing a song as it were a new song, taking your rightful place as gods, commanding the realm with a new, clear vision. Sparked by your unity, and you will then be able to experience the grandest flower, which is the field. Field stands for flower, ignited, emitting longevous divinity. Above is a riddle. I pondered on whether or not I would solve it for you. I color-coded it and spoke it in an order that was very clear. You can solve it. is not very complicated when you really read into it and pay attention to what is highlighted. The answer is simple. So question, what system is being referred to and how? I said answer it for yourself. If you're listening to it, here go a hint. It's the chakra system. There go the answer. All right. The man or woman who at will can assume whatever state he pleases has found the keys to the kingdom of heaven. That's Neville Goddard. I put a quote in there. I said, I have been speaking to, teaching, and reminding masses of people lately about how this thing called ascension requires a lot more action than what they've been seeing for the past 2 decades. There is so much more that needs to be done, and there are a lot more steps that need to be taken. Since the end of the year 2022, and even before then, I've been demonstrating to masses of people how to begin taking those necessary steps toward their so-called ascension. Those who have been walking with me have been raising their frequencies step by step. I am sure to remind them that when we speak of frequencies raising up, we aren't speaking in terms of any concepts rooted in what is called spookism. Spookism or ghostism or spiritism is, simply put, the realm of belief. When people are trapped within the world of spirit and faith and belief, they are living under a spell and are at risk of being blindly led astray. If people aren't careful and cautious, even concepts, ideas, and realities such as ascension can, has been, and will continue to be spiritualized. It's important to note that one's ascension is not a spiritual or ghostly experience. I'm saying it again. It's important to note that one's ascension is not a spiritual or ghostly experience. Most people are clueless as to what the word spirituality actually means to begin with, and so they tend to rest at chopped and screwed definitions and translations and explanations of the word instead of paying attention to the whole reality encircling the word. I said that reality is people have associated spirituality with a metaphysical reality that can't truly be explained and expressed about without the person trying to explain it, spiritualizing it, all right, and therefore leading people to have to believe in it, without knowing what it is. This is how even what is modernly referred to as spirituality has become a religion. It has turned into a movement based on mixed and remixed beliefs, yielding a mixed and remixed belief system that is actually based on the same things the people who practice spirituality often shun. For example, the holy books such as the Bible and the Quran. Spirituality has broken off from the 2 main religions that are linked to these books, which are Christianity and Islam. Being that people have also been taught to just believe in the stories and characters of these religions and their accompanying books and to practice these 2 religions without questioning them, people haven't even figured out what the purposes of these religions are, no matter how simple people may make them out to be. If they're so simple, why all the confusion? If they're so simple, why haven't people been able to realize and make sense of why these religions and books and scrolls exist? Due to the fact that people haven't figured that out to date, anything that branches off from these religions and books and scrolls and stories is, was, and will always be bound to be pushed forth to the world as new systems of belief overshadowed by spookism. Ascension is not spooky. Ascension is not mystical. Ascension is not theoretical. Ascension is scientific. Ascension is reality. Ascension is actuality. Please know and understand these truths. You cannot fake the walk of the chosen. You cannot fake the walk of the elect or the illuminated ones or the enlightened ones or the ones with their crowns activated or the ones with their coronas activated. In addition to Christianity and Islam, there's Hinduism. In all actuality, although people refer to the spiritual conscious community as the neo-spiritual community, where you have the word neo meaning new, and although, as I stated earlier, it's becoming a religion, that which is being called neo-spirituality is in fact modernized Hinduism. How can people truly move beyond religion if they can't even come to grips with their being a part of one? Let's read it again. How can people truly move beyond religion if they can't even come to grips with their being a part of one? Hinduism, the oldest religion documented in human history, was actually never intended to be a religion, but a way of life. And that way of life was supposed to encourage human beings to become scientists so that they may be able to better understand reality as well as their roles in reality. They were to learn from all masters or Buddhas. They were not to worship them as gods. All right. I said the same goes for those of you who are of the woke or conscious community. Many of you were pulled from your pillars of faith, if you will, and tossed into a whole new world of wonder, having been told that you have been lied to and that religion was man-made and that you were in essence God alone and that you should wake up. There is truth to each and every one of these statements. However, without enough understanding as to why these statements have truth to them, people run the risk of just rejecting the sciences altogether. That type of understanding comes from actually exploring more about the religions they were brought up in or raised up under. Most people who become spiritual do the exact opposite and actually choose not to be scholars and seekers of truth. They end up following some self-appointed leader who most of the time is a man who either decided for himself or was otherwise told that he was God and was therefore the all-knowing or the source and that all answers could be found within. People who follow these so-called leaders are never fully informed on how to go within or what that even means, truthfully speaking, and how they can actually get answers to real questions they have about real things in their reality and outside reality that is being reflected back onto them through their eyes and into their minds or brains. They are seeking to understand more about this world that exists outside of their bodies. If they want to learn about what photosynthesis is, they are not to go within to learn about it. If they need directions from their home to the nearest grocery store, they are not to go within to go get those directions. This notion of going within is being and has been pushed by so-called woke leaders due to their lack of understanding about the law of correspondence. As above, so below, as within, so without. You, as an abider of that law, are not simply to go within or to have faith or to pray or to meditate about things you have questions and or concerns about or wonders about. That is only the esoteric nature of the seeker, a nature that helps one to understand parables and allegories and that which is rooted in the implicit as opposed to the explicit. I say, as an abider of the law of correspondence, you are not to simply exercise faith. You have to literally go out and search and then search again. That is to say, you must research until you find answers. Faith without works is dead. These so-called leaders and so-called spiritual teachers only tell people to go within to be able to achieve the level of enlightenment that they have, quote unquote, achieved, because that is an easy and convenient way to evade questioning so as to not have to provide substantial answers that will truly satisfy the query. I said, if someone places themselves in a position where what they say is received and believed and no one dares to question them, they will never have to prove anything they say. And they can at that point pose as the irreproachable source of divine information. The go within concept ties to words like understanding, where people are being taught that if they have an understanding as opposed to an understanding, they will be able to wake up and they won't have to rely on anybody else for the information. These same so-called spiritual leaders that teach that still find a way to center themselves as the one who is able to bring forth this information from the cosmos or from the ethers. Their so-called information comes from no such place. All right, let's read it again. These same so-called spiritual leaders that teach that still find a way to center themselves as the one who is able to bring forth this information from the cosmos or from the ethers. Their so-called information comes from no such place. They got their information, quote unquote, from actual masters and scholars and gurus like the master teacher, Malachi York. And they didn't study a wide enough range of his works to fully grasp what and why he was really teaching certain things to begin with. And so they took a brick from here and a thread from here and a nail from there and some glue from here. And they built an unsteady foundation upon which they laid more borrowed ideologies and conspiracies and religious practices and sayings and stories. These pieces were sure to shake and slide and tumble off of the unsteady foundation bit by bit, as only a building or a temple, rather, with a solid and sturdy foundation will be able to stand the tests, of times. You see, reader, I am speaking of people like Young Pharaoh, Brother Polite, Nature Boy, Umar Johnson, 19 Keys, and Rashad Jamal. They all know exactly who Malachi York is and what he did and is still doing, even as he is incarcerated, currently serving a sentence of 135 years for crimes he didn't commit as a worker of the true light. They know his works. They saw what he built. They read his books. They listened to his teachings. They bore witness to the works of a true ascended master. Yet they don't make it known that he is the ascended master of our time. Why? This is because they want the spotlight for themselves. They want to be followed. They want to be glorified. They want people to look up to them and have faith in them. They do not want to do the actual works necessary to help a people, the people, or any people actually ascend and become better beings. You, reader, should be cautious to not worship these so-called leaders. Pay more attention to the works than the man or woman. Take heed that no man or woman deceive you. This includes myself. I said, I'm not saying that I will deceive you. I'm saying I don't want you to just accept whatever I say as facts. I want you to actually exercise discernment. I have no intentions of being the only one who can do the works. If helping to make this world we're in a better place is something you care to do, my message to you is to be genuine, be encouraged, be motivated, and to do the works. I won't say simply don't be a follower. I'll instead say to you to follow with the intention of learning to lead properly. I'll also say that if you're choosing to journey with me or to walk with me or alongside me, I'll also say that if you're choosing to journey with me, to walk with me or alongside me, don't follow me blindly. Don't follow anyone blindly. Question everything with the intentions of securing useful answers. Notice I said useful answers. It is more favorable for you to seek out useful answers as opposed to useless answers. If you can't use or apply in some way, shape, form, or fashion something you've been given as an answer, then that which you've been given is useless. The things we learn should be able to be placed on our utility belts like tools to be used if and when the time comes and we need them. To increase productivity and efficiency, one should work towards being able to identify utility versus futility. Utility is usefulness. Futility is uselessness. I was taught not to believe what anybody tells me and to always check it out or to make sure that it checks out. I want you to do the same. This is one way that you, reader, can reject the illusions of this world. Don't lean on faith and belief alone. Allow nothing into your brain save things that are of use to you. Maneuver through this realm as if your brain is your utility belt. Reach for your utility belt and do the works. I will for you to obtain the truth so that you may be made free. This is much more than a simple and single movement. I said this is an explosive combination of movements all together, coming together as one, up under the sun, facing it as it appears to cross over the heavens. Yet, indeed, they will still call this a movement. Listen to me. Don't waste your time trying to argue them down. Qualify that so-called movement as an endeavor of many waters and airs and fires and earths, a multidimensionally complex process rooted in progress. They, the outside world, will not understand this unless they have been walking with us already. All right? So I'm only talking to certain ones of you if you understand. But for anybody who's ready to hear it, they'll get it. If they not, then they won't get it. They still won't understand it. I'm telling you in the book. I said, so it will be labeled simply a movement. It will be labeled as an endeavor. I want you to pay attention to and point out to the onlookers and doubters and skeptics and naysayers the fact that this so-called endeavor or movement doesn't have a name. No, you are not a member of a cult, and that you are free to travel to and fro as you will and are under no constraints. I'm telling you, I know the game. As you walk with me, and even in and after the event that I am no longer here in this body, you are encouraged to be more responsible, more observant, more scientific, more logical, more reasonable, more knowledgeable, to enjoy life, to study all great works and teachings, to never stop learning, to be creative, to love, and to be proud of your ability to love, to hate no one, yet be aware of differences and use active discernment, to believe nothing that anyone teaches you and to research everything, to be motivated, to take care of your mind, body, and soul, to look after your health and well-being, to be sure to remember that no matter how intelligent or charismatic or powerful or mysterious or spiritual or religious or important or compelling or effective any man or woman may appear, you are to worship nobody save whatever God or force in the universe you believe in beyond mankind. You, reader, are not a follower of Phase One. You are responsible for your own actions as an individual, as I am. I do not teach or encourage anyone to harm anyone. This endeavor is not reserved for a single race of people. My message concerns not just one group of people, but all of humanity. I am not claiming to be God, the creator, or any type of supernatural entity. I am here in this realm with you. It's true. I am being human. Therefore, I am a human being. I am not saying I am merely a human being, as there are many more mysteries, yet to be uncovered, and brought forth about our existence as living souls. However, I don't want anyone to get caught up in the mystical nature of my being. I don't want anyone to get caught up in the mystical nature of their own being. You see, in this form, I breathe in oxygen and I breathe out carbon dioxide, just like everyone else. If I don't continue to breathe in that oxygen, then that which you observe to be me will die or transition from an animated state to an inanimate state, becoming food for the decomposers, broken down and recycled back into the earth. I said, this is also true for you, reader, and you are being encouraged not to fear that reality, but to accept it and embrace it, allowing for your accepting and embracing that reality to motivate you to live a more present, more fulfilling life. Thus, there is no name and there will be no name for this endeavor. Thus, there is no name and there will be no name for this endeavor. I don't want, ask, or require people to sign up for or to become a member of this movement. We are not an organization. If you know me, you know what I'm doing in this book. If you understand how I have, foresight, you understand what this book will be for. And you will have to know these parts of this book to be able to show people, no, look, right here, he's saying, here go the lineup. Because there's certain things that's going to come. And I'm showing you right now that I'm already onto it. Right? Watch this. We are not an organization. All right? An organ cannot function on its own. It takes a body. I welcome all people to hear my teachings. I welcome all people to question my teachings as well as my motives. I may be able to connect dots that others could not connect and or have not connected to date concerning multiple philosophies and religious doctrines and sciences and ideologies as well as events, peoples and names, etc. But I lay no claim to the innate ability to communicate with the worlds around us. I lay no claim to the innate ability to be communicated with by the worlds around us. You, reader, are also capable. You, reader, are walking this path with me. Even if I am no longer here, as and able to be reached by you, whether in prison, or on the move, or transition from this form to say that I have passed away, you will still be able to hear my voice when you read these words. There will be messages that may resonate with you while I'm here, and there will be messages that may resonate with you while I'm gone. Just know that I was eager and excited to take this walk with you, all of you. This movement doesn't need a name. It doesn't need a title. It doesn't need a label. We are all here exploring and growing. You didn't need me to come to certain realizations. It just so happens that you may have found me at a certain point in time for that reason. I am not only a teacher, but a student. I make you no promise of any heaven beyond this earth. That is not to say that there is no heaven or haven beyond the earth realm. There may very well be. I am, however, in no position to prove that there is a heaven beyond earth or heavens beyond earth. I can point up and tell you to look at the sun and the moon and the stars and the planets. I am not able to take you to either of those celestial bodies or abodes. How can I tell you for sure then that you will be taken from this realm, a realm that is currently in a state of disorder and chaos called hell? How can I tell you that which I don't know and then say that I am a speaker of truth or that I am of the true light? They're about to cut the live in a second, y'all, so it's divine timing. The true light is color-coded in green because that color, green, is the color of the life force energy that is channeling through your body as we speak. All right, so if you want the book that I was just reading, it's going to come out soon. I can't put a date on it now, but it will be out real soon. I just got to wrap everything up. But if you want that book, send a donation to, you see where it say Play for Change, Cash App. Send a donation to that Cash App and send your email, and I'll put you down for that book. But you'll also be able to get the 9 books too. So if you send it now, send your email. I'll put you down for the rehab book and then send the other 9 books to you so you'll get those in advance. All right. I love y'all. I'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.